Yay! Hello, world. Welcome to the Vision Train. We are streaming live from Critical Mass. Every month on the last Friday, we get together for these virtual convergences. We welcome all the communities that are here to create together. And we just ask, like, what would happen if everybody got together and just focused on creating a better today, a better tomorrow, and maybe not even a better, just like, what is the best thing you can imagine? And start right here, right now in Critical Mass. So we've got some guests from the Veraverse, which is another one of those communities I was mentioning, and they're gonna welcome Sabrina, aka The Brightness, is gonna be coming on in just a little bit to guide us in an opening ritual, a little bit of presencing, and then we'll hear from my friend Maureen. She's coming in for a really cool quantum defrag of your system, aligning you with your higher self and your goals and your reality. And then DJ Keto is going to come on. He was just here last week, so we're really excited to have him on back so soon for another wonderful musical set. So that's kind of the shape of Critical Mass. And so, yeah, it's really great to be here again. Marina, did you want to share anything?
Hi. Yeah, for sure. I'm really glad that the critical mass it is happening here on the train. This is like a gathering that we do every last Friday of the month, so we can get something like some not something better like Ali was saying, but something else. Because here on the Vision Train, we've been writing in this format of bringing guests and bringing also music, live music for us here. And it's always like this sporadic moment. But this year, we got this critical mass project that we want to keep moving forward with something else, like really that we can bring to our community, that we can bring to the Vision Train, and also link different communities that are gathering all around the globe. Well, I'm speaking from Brazil, and I do have my community. I do gathering twice a year here on the region, and this has formed like a group of people that comes together twice a year. So this is really interesting how community can form and how we can evolve together in this way. So yeah, I'm really glad that the critical mass is happening on the Vision Train. I'm really glad to be supported of this, and I'm excited for what we will have today.
Yeah. Awesome. And obviously, it's so great to have the Veraverse folks in the room again. I mean, it's just, this is exactly what we're going for, right? Is like, not only did Sabrina come to facilitate something beautiful for us, but her community is showing up to be with us as well. So I'm just like really glad to see the proof is in the pudding, as they say. And if you build it, they will come. Vision Train has always been a social sculpture. I was just meeting with another of our engineers today, Miles, and we were just talking about how beautiful that metaphor is, where these artists are able to take something that's already beautiful, like this big, giant, majestic piece of marble, and they have a vision of what it could be. And not that there was anything wrong with the marble, but they start chipping away and creating this vision. And by the time they're finished, you would almost swear that the dress is moving and that the fabric is like soft. And this is stone, right? And that's what the power of social sculpture and the Vision Train is here demonstrating. We're not just talking about it, we're doing it, and it makes me so happy. So yeah, just so glad to have you guys all be a part of that. So yeah, I want to give maybe just a few minutes for people to arrive. I know that we're happening all over the world, so people are coming from different time zones. People are like taking their lunch break and trying to jump on for 20 minutes or whatever. So I want to make it as open as possible. So we usually wait just a few minutes in the beginning. I'm going to throw on some music until about 15 after the hour. And I'm going to throw a prompt up on the screen. So if anybody does want to get vibing right away, there's a question we can all start to center around and just get to know each other a little bit in the chat if we want. So that's where we're going. Thanks for being here. And honestly, like since it's pretty intimate and quiet right now too, I guess it would be really nice if maybe we just have a little bit of a like hello, and if anybody wants to say hi, my name is, and say where you're coming from today. I'm totally open for that too. No pressure.
Hello, all. Hey, Allie. My
Hey,
name is
Paul.
Paul. My name is Paul Salinger. I am in Oakland, California, and I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for doing this. I think this is going to become a regular thing. So, um, yeah, happy to be here.
Thanks, Paul. We're glad you're here too. Sweet. And I know Kyra said she was getting something to eat. I know Chance has got hands full with dogs and kids. I know
I can say
Sabrina.
hello.
I saw you go off camera, so I wasn't sure if that was my cue to leave you alone.
That's
I'm
just me
painting.
just mucking about with my phone settings, I'm afraid.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I feel like I haven't
Yeah.
heard your voice and seen your face in a minute.
Yeah, I've been a bit quiet applying for jobs and stuff, but yeah, nice to be here. Nice to say hi to everyone. I'm Josephine and I'm in a very hot and sweaty London at the moment. It's literally hotter than Africa here at the moment. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, we've got all the doors and windows open and just, yeah, trying to keep any bit of coolness we can, but I'm still going to paint, so it's all good.
Yeah, the paint dries faster in theory.
It's literally drying on the brush before I put it on the canvas.
Oh,
It's so
dear.
mad.
Yeah, I'm tuning in from Florida and I was born and raised, so I understand the heat very well. And then sometimes we
Yeah.
also have the extreme humidity where it's just like it's like so mind bending. How is it still not
Yeah.
dry?
Oh, I think the thing is about the UK, we're just not set up for really hot weather because a lot of our homes don't have air conditioning because
Yeah.
normally we haven't needed it, but now it's like, wow, I don't have any fans or air conditioning or anything.
Yeah.
It's only offices and some schools, but not all of them. Yeah. Never mind.
I
It's
was
all
just
good.
reading, I was just reading something this morning that was talking about how European leaders are starting to think about not worrying so much about global warming, which of course is what is causing all this heat, and focusing on just getting people air conditioning as
Oh,
as a
yeah.
as a band-aid to the heat problem, which of course is like a very short-term thinking problem.
I know. I mean, that's the thing, really. I mean, it's not really about, oh dear, I'm a bit hot in my house. It's
That's
like,
right.
obviously, there's a bigger issue behind it all, ultimately. Yeah. So, yeah, slightly concerning, but
Mhm.
we have to plan that one day some of these problems will get solved by some people that are somewhat more on it than our current leaders, I imagine, but we
Yeah.
live in hope.
And even just all of us learning from each other, right? And learning to listen. That's my hope for a lot of the leadership today is just that we'd all learn to listen to each other a little bit better. And then maybe we could get some clarity and, start working together. That's my
So
hope, for sure.
100%.
And Sabrina, you're tuning in from the UK as well, but not right in London, are you?
But so
Uh-uh. You were cutting out there for a second.
me now.
Yeah, your voice is clipping in and out.
Oh,
But
now?
better we find this out now. Your video is coming through extremely clear. Like it looks like you have a solid connection.
Yeah. So this is, yeah. Can you hear me now?
No, it's your microphone that's not coming through. Something is happening with your microphone, possibly. Can you check the settings at the audio? And it is noise removal, microphone mode.
Yeah.
It
What?
is. Can you guys see that's her microphone that's not coming through, right? Because she's not choppy. The video is not choppy, right?
Yeah, the video isn't, but it's weird. Yeah, it's something to do, I guess, with the microphone, I would think.
And yeah, can you see the microphone mode where it is? And maybe you type in the chat. It's supposed to be on noise removal. Check. And you can see this in the symbol of audio. There is an arrow up. And then there is set microphone, select speaker, microphone mode. And microphone mode to be noise removal.
It's on noise.
It's okay, it's on noise removal. Mm.
Um, hmm.
Well, now it's a bit better.
It's
No.
uh, uh,
So
might
can you try personalize audio isolation? Can you try that? No.
can you
You're, Sabrina, you might try just getting off and reconnecting.
Yes.
Perfect.
Let's get a reset in the system.
And while she's doing that, yeah, I'll just go ahead and throw on music for a minute or two and throw the little welcome message up on the screen. And yeah, things will work themselves out. Marina, it's the bugs.
It's the bugs. They come. They
It's
come.
the bugs.
Too much energy. When there is too much energy, the bugs gets crazy.
They get it too excited.
Yes.
Very much like me.
So the electric dragon butterflies, right?
Dragon butterflies. It's our fault we called them in the room.
Electric dragon butterflies. I really want to draw this out.
I really want you to. So for those that are just listening in to me and Marina's inside joke, we were getting up to do a presentation last weekend together, and we were talking about the butterflies and how they just get bigger and bigger, and then they turn into electric dragon butterflies. But they're not bad guys. They just, they're excited.
Excited, just like the bugs in the ether.
Yeah. Hey, Celine. I didn't see you slip in. Good to see you. All right, let me just put on some music till Sabrina rejoins us, and there will be a prompt up on the screen. You guys can check that out.
Nice. Thanks, Ellie.
Is that I can't see what I need to see. Here we go. God.
Awesome.
Oh, yay. Okay, sweet.
That's awesome. Okay, great.
Amazing.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, shall we get started?
Give me just a second. I don't know if I'm as masterful as Tyra was. How do I stop my screen share? That's what I want. Welcome back, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so good to have you on. I'm so glad that you responded to my invitation to have you aboard. And this is an invitation to all of you out there watching the live stream in the future or even right now. These invitations are extended to all of you creators for every critical mass. There's always at least 3 openings to come be a participant in the way that you're going to see today. So, yeah, Sabrina, why don't you tell me, yeah, why did you decide to be part of critical mass?
Well, I've always been intrigued by the Vision Train. This is the first time I've been here, but I've been hearing about it in the Viraverse and also meeting Ali and meeting and hearing a lot about it. I was like, oh, I know that I want to be a part of it. I was just looking for the right opening, and this is certainly it. And so it's a pleasure to be here and right up my alley as a creative too.
Oh, I love that. Okay, cool. Well, if you're ready, I'm ready. You just take the lead. I have been lucky to do a lot of presencing rituals and different things with Sabrina over in the Viraverse, so I'm always ready to jump right in. She has a great way of creating these spaces of really deep presence. So I'm excited to see what she has for us today.
Thank you, Ali. I think I'm going to need your help with the slides.
Perfect. I can do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So we'll get the first one up. But as you do that, I'll introduce myself for everyone who doesn't know me. My name is Sabrina, though many people in the Viraverse know me as The Brightness. I am a writer, facilitator, founder of Aquila SG, and I am delighted to be opening today's critical mass gathering with all of you. And today we're going to explore a simple but powerful question. Thank you, Ali, of what happens when we let creativity lead. What happens when we let creativity lead the way?
Oh,
So if we go to the first slide, that's a
yeah.
bit of a sneak peek. Awesome. So before we begin, we've done a little bit of a quick check-in with Ali's amazing prompt, which is great. But I would love to invite us into a quick check-in of the state of our creative energy. So either in the chat or out loud, if you prefer. Why don't we answer like this first prompt, and I'll put it in the chat also, of in this moment, my creativity fills. So in this moment, my creativity fills, and then just fill in the blank of what that is. That can be alive, playful, curious, quiet, stagnant, or hesitant. So who would like to go first? Alive. Love that. Love that, Ali. Well,
I guess
as
you guys do it in the chat or out loud, right?
yeah,
I just
yeah.
the chat. But we are streaming live, so it's your chance.
But I've seen a lot of beautiful responses in the chat.
Did we get in the chat?
Ready to blossom. I love that. Surrendered
Creativity feels ready to blossom. Hmm.
in strange and unexpected place. I love that.
Those are
Feel,
great.
love that.
Applied in strange and unexpected places. Surrendered.
Active, playful, and a deep teaching. Amazing. That's really great.
What about you, Sabrina? I know I've done this to you before. How is your
No.
creativity feeling today? We don't always get the opportunity to respond as facilitators.
True. Buzzing like a bee, like a buzzing bee right now. Yeah, that's what it feels like for me. Awesome. So thank you. Thank you for asking that, Ali, and thank you everyone for sharing. I love seeing such a range of experiences. We're feeling inspired sometimes, and if you're watching this in the recording afterwards, of course, others may feel uncertain or somewhere in between, and that's absolutely valid. And the beautiful thing about creative flow is that it doesn't ask us to be or arrive in a particular state. It just simply invites us to notice where we are and to begin from there. So for the next hour or so, we'll be exploring the theme of flow, not as something to achieve or force, but as something we might notice, nurture, and perhaps become a little more available to. So, Ali, if you want to go to the next slide. So, oh, I think there's one before that. Awesome. So what is flow? So when I think about flow, I often think about my experience as a writer and a poet. There are moments when writing feels difficult. Every sentence feels heavy, every word feels questioned, and the harder I push, the further away the words seem to be. And then there are other moments when I sit down intending to write for 20 minutes and then suddenly I look at the clock and an hour has passed and the inner critic becomes silent. The words arrive in record speed and something begins to move within. For me, flow feels less like creating and more like listening, less like forcing and more like following something greater. I don't think flow is something we can command into existence, but I do think we can create the conditions for it to emerge. And I'd like to explore that experience together. So, what is flow? What helps it emerge? What gets in the way? And what helps us return when we feel creatively stagnant? And along the way, I wrote a poem about flow, and I'd love to share it with you. So if you want to go to the next slide, and I'll read it out loud as we all look at it together. Thank you, Ali. So, the art of flow. Flow is not the river rushing, certain of where it needs to go. It is a leaf upon the water, turning softly with the current, trusting what it does not know. The tide retreats without apology. The moon need not hurry to be full. The forest waits beneath the winter, holding faith in unseen spring, quiet, patient, beautiful. Not all movement looks like progress. Not every path is straight and clear. Sometimes flow is gentle stillness, making space for what is coming, welcoming it when it appears. So I loosen my grip on certainty and listen to life's steady song. The river's wisdom carries enough already. I was never meant to steer it, only travel with it along. So, yes. So that's poem was written in a time of where creative flow was buzzing and in a very interesting time for me. I found flow least expected today, or this week actually, when I was waiting in a hospital, which is not where I expected to find creative flow, but I was forced to kind of be within. So sometimes flow comes unexpectedly. But I want to ask you, what does creative flow mean to you? And that can be, again, you can say it out loud, using your mic or in the chat.
Yeah, I really like the metaphor of the river too, because it's not good or bad. It can be, it can carry us away. I speak from my own experience anyway. I can get carried away with flow, and we can assign good or bad to that at different times. But yeah, that metaphor of the river feels like super spot on for me with flow.
For sharing
I
that.
also love the statement about not needing to be certain of where we need to go and living in uncertainty. There's a certain randomness to flow sometimes that is inspiring, and it could be a word, it could be a phrase, it could be an image of something that creates a flow of creativity that manifests itself in a drawing, a poem, a painting, whatever it may be. So that living in uncertainty and letting it just come is a way of flowing for me.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a really resonant, absolutely. And also, thank you, Dominique, for sharing in this chat. Loss of time and space, just being in the now. Absolutely.
Yeah, something like you kind of lose all your senses, but at the same moment you're like in control of everything. And then it's like no thoughts, silence, and just like a focus into the, not that there is a purpose, like Paul said, we don't know the way, but the flow is leading the way. So you're just like in this surrender mode and just one point focused when we are in like this creative flow. Yeah.
Yeah, and even just listening to you too, sometimes it like feels like two-player game. Like I liked what Sabrina said earlier about it. It feels more like listening sometimes, where it's like not so like you said, there's the loss of the senses, but there's also the heightening of other senses. And like, yeah, that it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, does it feel like it comes from within, or does it feel like inspiration kind of comes from somewhere else or something greater? What do you guys think?
I
think
just feel like
both.
it's always both. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, everybody immediately said both. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I also love what Chance said of his daughter currently drawing with crayons. That's very much in flow. Yeah. Brings me back to my childhood. No, absolutely. But I think that image is very resonant with me because that's something I did a lot as a child, is just draw with crayons, scribble with crayons, even just filling in like oh, what's the word for it? Like coloring in. That's it, coloring in. That's enough for being in flow. And then how my creativity sparked and stuff like that. I don't know if that's resonant with anyone else, but yeah. Awesome. So as we move into the next part of our time together, I invite you to carry your own experiences of flow with you. And I would like to invite you into a period of creative reflection. You might journal, you might draw, you might paint, you might make music, poetry, or you might simply sit quietly and think. There is no wrong way to participate. You don't need to answer every question, and instead allow yourself to spend time with whichever question or questions call to you most strongly. But I have provided a few questions on the next slide to that we can take a few minutes to explore. So the first question, which we've started to explore, of what does being in flow mean to you? When have you experienced flow in your creative life? What did it feel like? And what conditions helped that flow emerge? And what tends to pull you out of flow or leave you feeling stuck? And then finally, what helps you reconnect with flow when it feels distant? So those are just questions you can that can inspire you, or you can explore something else entirely if you want. But we're gonna listen to music and we'll creatively reflect on that for the next 10 minutes, starting now. Thank you so much, Ali. Okay, so if everyone wants to finish up their last sentence or their last thought, and come back to the room. Okay, so what I'd love to open the space for conversation, share only what feels comfortable, of course, and listening and witnessing are also forms of participation. But if anyone would like to start, I would love to know what came up during your creative reflections. And if Ali, if we want to put the slide so I can see everyone and we can have a conversation. Awesome, thank you.
So what came up for me was, being in a creative flow has always been about curiosity and just being curious about what's going on around me and letting that inspire, poetry being kind of my main form of creativity. And I've written poems. I've written poems in so many different places. I've written in poems in a train in India. I've written poems on airplanes. I've written poems lying naked on moss in a forest. I've written poems sitting with other people. I've written poems in lots of different spaces. And so I think it's just, a certain level of curiosity about what's going on around me and being inspired by, like I said earlier, words, phrases, images, people, whatever it may be. I mean, there's so many different forms of being curious about things and so many different forms of how that inspires creativity. And I think, my curiosity, extends to dance and literature and music and art and, all kind of forms of art. And I think whenever I feel like I'm, kind of losing a flow of creativity, it's usually getting back into some level of art, whether it be music or dance or whatever. That kind of brings me back to it. But I think curiosity is kind of like, the way for me to be in flow with creativity.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And I love what you said resonated with me as a fellow poet and also as a writer. Especially what you said about different forms of art. I mean, the curiosity bit, absolutely. And I think for me, that comes up as when writing poems and feeling stuck, being like, okay, being curious about where is the next inspiration going to come from? Is it going to come from my emotions, what I'm feeling about a particular topic? Is it going to come from, I've had my poems come from different forms of art, whether that's films, characters, or art, another like paintings itself, different forms of art. So a lot of that resonated with me, Paul. Thank you for sharing. And would anyone else like to share or respond to what Paul said?
Yes, I want to share, and thank you so much for bringing these questions to the gathering. I really find the topic of creativity, like talking about the topic of creativity, it's really like vast and infinite, and I really enjoy like this deep dive into creativity, because like you mentioned, when you feel the creative, what you're doing, when you feel the creative flow, like I can even feel the creative flow when I'm cooking. Like, yeah, you can even feel like in these really like simple moments of life, the creative flow, and then you're just like focus. And Paul, really interesting that you bring the curiosity. Yes, it's all about curiosity. There is a saying, the other day I heard a saying, I believe, I say it's from Leonardo da Vinci or something like that, but he says that without curiosity, you cannot learn. Like you cannot absorb knowledge if you're not curious about the knowledge. And makes really so much sense. And also what came up to me, it is like a dialogue that we have when we are in the creative flow. When we and it goes even like beyond the artifact that we are creating, like beyond what we are not like, oh, it should be more blue, should be more like should have like this, should have that. Yes, we have that talk, but it goes even like beyond what we are exploring. Like it goes to our emotions, some memories. Like wow, when we are that in that creative flow, like many things can come up. And one thing that I wrote, it's like um, there is even like a transformation. Like you're transformed somehow when you go through a creative flow, because for sure there is like the practice part where we are like practicing a craft, and yeah, we evolve for sure when we are practicing. And there is also like an understanding, not only for the craft that we are making, but then for ourselves. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Marina. A lot of what you said resonated with me. First of all, what you said, building on that create on that curiosity, that also kind of starts with just observation. I mean, when you mentioned Leonardo da Vinci, I think it was either him or another painter where his process was literally just started with just sitting in the streets and observing people, and that's how his process started. And I think that resonates a lot with me as a writer, just observing, being like, what am I looking at? Whether it's other people, even just myself, yeah. And I think the second thing of being in flow whenever, whether it's cooking, whether it's just being in stillness, the river of creativity can flow whenever it is, whenever it hits. So yes, thank you for sharing that, Marina. Would anyone else like to respond to Marina or share what came up for them?
Me, I do. I love. Yeah, I'm just so excited by it all. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with everything that's been shared. And I'm just thinking about how like when we're like taking the time to spend with good questions like this, it's like Marina was saying, just thinking about the topic of creativity, it's almost like it creates a map and a bridge between like the logical mind and the more creative, like somatic body, right? Where it's like, oh, this is, yeah, now I remember that's how I got there. And immediately like thinking about like other times you've been in flow, like it engages your nervous system and reminds you like, oh yeah, that's what it feels like. So I really experienced it as an invitation into flow. And it was so cool because, like Marina said, like memories surface. And you guys know me, everyone on this call knows me pretty well. I'm always the one that goes straight to write. I love doing the words. So I was as surprised as anyone when the first thing that I did was I was hearing Amanda's voice talking about following the line. And oh, it keeps popping in and out. Yeah, I just started drawing a line and this crane started to come through and then the words. And what was so cool was the words were all about, I kept thinking about when I was a little girl, we all, I don't know, maybe we don't all, but I'm sure all of us on this call would have that one thing that if anybody put a crayon or a pencil or something in my hand, I would immediately draw. It was always like a flower, a fairy, or a dolphin, and there was always, and I don't remember anyone ever teaching me to draw those things. I don't remember. So I was like, was it me that drew the thing? Was it the hand? Was it the flow? Like, and it was like this cool thing, like not even focusing on the questions, but just letting the questions open up something like between Flo and I. And what came out was just like, oh, thank you so much, Sabrina.
Thank you, Ali. And that looks beautiful, that drawing. And honestly, what that kind of reminds me of, it kind of reminds me how much creativity is really connected to play, or because what you said kind of brought me back, and I haven't thought about this for a while, my childhood, and one of my favorite art exercises was just like drawing. Like my art teacher did this thing where we would just have a blank piece of paper, and actually she would blindfold us and be like, okay, just put pen to paper and see what comes up, just move the pen, and it's absolutely fine if it's just nonsense, or if something beautiful comes out. It's just what it is, and I realized that was probably one of my first instances of being aware of like creative flow, of being like, oh, I love this, just especially as someone who can be a bit of a perfectionist, even with my creativity. I was like, oh, I don't have to draw perfectly, just let it be, let it flow. And that's one of my favorite things. So thank you for bringing that back, Ali. And it kind of makes me want to pick up a pen or pencil and just let it flow.
Yay, mission accomplished. I love that. That's what we're here for. I love that. Yeah. Who else?
Yeah, who else would like to share? I'm curious, Marina, what that exercise, if that was similar or if that was
Well,
slightly
if I
different.
can share really quick, Ali, thanks so much for bringing that up of the playfulness, because the last question that you mentioned, like, what do you do when you feel stuck? You play, you explore, you become a child. And when I was a child, I went to a ballet class, and I wasn't good at the ballet class. I didn't want to dance. And then one day the teacher put a pen, a pencil, and a paper and told me, draw them dancing. And I remember until today what I drew. It was just movements of circles. And I was just moving the pencil on the paper and with different colors. And I really enjoyed that. I remember that. I was like maybe between 6 to 8 years old. Yes. So yeah, I was really young. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Marina. Yeah. Would anyone else like to share or respond to what Marina or Ali said?
Yeah, I can go. I completely relate to what Marina said, because myself and my sister, we're both arty types as well, and I can just remember so many days of sitting and drawing, just half, in front of the fire, and sitting there and just making up like magazines and comics and getting them photocopied and like trying to sell them to other kids in the street, all these sort of things. And I think it's really easy for kids to get into flow if it's something they enjoy, whether that be, art, craft, type things, or whether that's like sports or singing or whatever it is. I think kids just will naturally go into their flow quite easily. And I think with adults, we can get inhibited and more blocked, because we start, more self-judgment starts coming in. And that's why I think the train is so valuable, because since I've been on the vision train, my art producing has gone up exponentially. And that's through the experience of having these kind individuals that are like your greatest cheerleaders and support, and people that will give you feedback and just be, just there for you really in different phases that you're in with different circumstances in life. So I think it's been, truly a very, very valuable tool indeed. I would say, like, one of the ways that I get into flow is through meditation, or sort of, vision quest journeys or shamanic journeys, call it what you will, but using some of the imagery that comes out from that, I find that will be a very good catalyst to get me into flow, to then have an initial sketch of what it is I want to do to then start bringing that out. Or just connecting to something that you really love. You've already got the starting point of the flow. For example, if I make a painting connected with the animal kingdom because I love animals, you know, or nature, trees, I've already got that love there already. So it's easier for me to get into the flow. If I've got good imagery to work from, I can quite easily get into the flow. I've got my technique that I'm using, and I've got source material that I love. So that's an easier stepping stone. But if I want to do something more complex, it's maybe from a dream or a meditation, that might take a bit more ups and downs. And I might have a few more tantrums along the way and question myself and say, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, and all the rest of it. But I think that's just part of what it is to be human and be an adult in this quite complex world. And you do judge yourself quite a lot. But then you just have to shake yourself out or come on the vision train and have someone nice to talk to, and then you'll probably get back into your flow again. So yeah, sorry I missed some of it because my technology was playing up, so I've come downstairs to watch on here. But yeah, from what I gleaned, that's what I can say about flow anyway.
Thank you for sharing that, Josephine. And honestly, what you said resonated a lot, and I really think it like encapsulated a lot of what we were talking about, and a lot about being a creative and being a human and being, yeah. So thank you so much. It resonated a lot with me, you know, especially like as a child being automatically in flow and then seeming like it has to like it's like it can be harder to get in flow, even though that's not really, it really isn't, but it can seem like that, you know. And then yeah, from what you said of being like sometimes you just need to probably get out of your own head, and that can be being on the vision train, which I'm so happy has been that for you, and just, or like speaking to a friend, or just getting another perspective and being like, okay, yeah, you know. So thank you.
Definitely. It's about community, isn't it, I think? And because there are going to be certain people that you're friends with, certain family members, or just people that you're friends with that know you from other interests and other things that you do. And they might not get it. So no, I don't mean that in a rude way, but they won't get that need that's innate within you to create as much if that isn't in their practice to do. So it's definitely nice to have people that are creatives, that are going through some of the same thoughts that you're going through. And, you know, chances are if you're having a bit of a wobble and thinking, oh no, I'm not, I can't do it, I'm not, then there'll be someone else at that time that's having one of their best moments. It's like, yeah, you can, you know, have you thought about this, and why not try that? And, you know, just give you lots of other inspirations and ideas. And you can be the same for those other people as well. So that's why it's so important, whether that's in real life, virtually, a mixture of the two. But you certainly don't need to be, as an adult, around too many people that are going to say, oh, what are you doing that for? Or, oh, don't waste your time with that. You know, you need to be doing something boring like you're ironing, or, you know, cleaning your house or whatever. That's my philosophy anyway. Choose mad, creative friends that don't tell you to do boring things.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Would anyone else like to respond to what Josephine said or share?
I mean, I can share. Yeah, I also resonated with what Josephine was saying, and I think kind of this thread that's been through a lot of people's responses is I wrote down like confidence. And I think whether that takes the form of like, you know, the blindfolded thing where you kind of like abandon technique, or whether you feel like you have enough of a technique that you can draw on that confidence to then like have the courage to try something new. I feel like that's kind of the balance for me, is feeling like I'm in a space of feeling confident enough to like push the boundaries. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Celine. Yeah, that resonates a lot. Also with me in being like, being in creative flow can bring confidence, and vice versa. Even just having that confidence can help you, as you said, push the boundary and be like, oh, I haven't done this before, you know. And this is the first time I've been in the vision train community, which is all lovely, but I've definitely found that with the Viraverse, in being in that community has helped me tap into my flow and then grow as not only just a human but as a creative. So thank you for sharing. So for the last few minutes, I would love, first of all, thank you all for sharing. This has been such an insightful and amazing discussion. But I would love to have, with the last 5 minutes, a guided meditation for us to tap even more into our imagination and creativity. So I'd like to invite you all to get comfortable in whatever way feels supportive. You may wish to close your eyes, soften your gaze, or simply focus on a point in front of you, and you can turn off your cameras if you feel more comfortable. So we will begin with a slow, deep breath in and a slow, deep breath out. And again, breathing in and breathing out. And one more time, a gentle, deep breath in and out. Allow your shoulders to soften. Allow your jaw to relax. Allow yourself to arrive fully in this moment. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else you need to do. Just simply be. And I invite you to imagine yourself sitting beside a river or a lake, noticing the gentle movement of the water, watching it flow around rocks and branches and trees, watching it move with ease. The water does not force its way forward. It does not need to know every turn ahead. It simply follows its nature. And as you sit beside this river or lake, imagine that it represents your creativity or your imagination. It is not something separate from you, but something that has always been there within you, a deep part of you, moving beneath the surface, even during seasons when it feels quiet, even during times when you feel stuck, even during moments when inspiration seems distant, the water continues to flow. And notice what happens as you simply sit beside it. No need to fix anything, no need to force anything, no need to search for answers. Simply observe, simply listen. And if inspiration appears, welcome it. If an image appears, welcome it. If a feeling appears, welcome that too. And if nothing appears at all, that is welcome too. The river or lake does not stop being a body of water simply because we cannot see where it is going. So take a slow breath in and a gentle breath out. Perhaps there is a wisdom within this river, a wisdom that understands movement, a wisdom that understands timing, a wisdom that understands when to flow swiftly and when to move slowly, a wisdom that asks for nothing from you in this moment except your presence. And for a few moments, simply rest beside the river, trusting its movement, trusting its wisdom, trusting that creativity does not need to be forced, only welcomed. And we will take 1 minute of silence to just listen to the river. That was 1 minute. So if you want to take one final deep breath in and slowly let it out. Begin bringing your awareness back to the room. Notice your breath, notice your body, notice whatever is present. Perhaps you leave with inspiration, perhaps you leave with a question, perhaps you simply leave feeling a little more present than when you arrived. Whatever you're feeling is enough. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes and come back to the room. Brilliant. Thank you all for sharing this exploration with me today. I am now delighted to hand things over to our healing guard, Chance, who will share a little more about the Viriverse and Viridescent and ways to continue exploring creativity and connection and possibility with us. So over to you, healing guard.
Thanks, Brightness. So you'll be delighted to know that you guided my sweet little daughter through coloring into laying down next to her dad and falling asleep while we were going through some of that. So she's now resting peacefully over there, which is a gift to dad in a number of ways. So yeah, a little bit about the Viriverse. So I'll start by saying that I have struggled with this in the past of being in other events, other workshops, other communities, and then talking about us and ourselves. It's something that's been weird for me in the past, particularly in the space of trying to kind of like market and sell what we do. And so there's been a lot of patience and process of how to do that in a way that feels aligned and balanced and right. And where I've landed is that in this moment, we are here to be supportive to the Vision Train community, because really the Vision Train and the Viriverse are kind of the same thing, which is why when we extend an invitation to come over into our community, which has a bit of a lens around the change maker space, right, of trying to do good in the world, in a world that needs good, and being graceful and humble and even equanimous a bit in being able to rise to meet these big challenges in the world. And one of the ways in which we do that is that we're not out to win, we're not out to compete, we're out to be together and to be supportive of people that are doing good work. And so the invitation that we have to extend is an offering to join us on our Harness Your Hero journey, which basically be jumping aboard the Vision Train and traveling into the Viraverse in a sense. And the way in which we want to do that is co-opetition, exactly, right? It's like creativity, right? It's like, oh, that piece of art is cool, and you get inspired to create your own piece of art that's cool as well, right? And it's not about being better, it's about, you know, co-creating good stuff together. And so one of the things that we want to offer to the Vision Train community, which may or may not be a standard, at least in regard to participating in some of our virtual offerings, is for people to be able to pay what they can, just like the Vision Train did for this critical mass event, right? Like, you can take a free ticket if that is what makes sense and what works for you. So that is the link I'm going to put in the chat. And a little bit about what Harness Your Hero is it is an immersive quest for people to become a hero band and travel through a tale as the central characters that helped us find a sustainable humanity. So you navigate between two kind of entangled planets. One is the unsustainable of Shadow, and the other is the sustainable of a place called Silver. And it's all about finding the kind of integrated self that allows you to bring harmony between the idea of unsustainable and sustainable. And as such, we arrive at something that feels like regeneration. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. If you want to read a little bit more. This is coming up towards the end of July. A number of us will be there. Me and Sabrina will both be kind of hero guides, as we call it. Paul may flow in and out. We'll see. Yeah, he's been through it a bunch of times, so we'll see what he's up to. And we'll have some really cool people in there. So that's available to anybody in the Vision Train community. And then we also have a nature retreat coming up in October that Paul will be at, and it looks like Allie's going to join us, we think. Yeah, we're getting closer to that here in the mountains of Montana as well, which is actually not so far from Stacy Awesome, who's in your community. We found out, oh, whoa, we live in close proximity, and oh, whoa, we're doing similar type of things. So I was just actually texting with her before I got on this. So yeah, just really grateful to be with you all. And for me, it's not about showing up and getting people to buy our shit, right? Or anything beyond just supporting this higher frequency that is putting good and creative and flow, I guess, something that feels more like a flow through life rather than all of this nonsense and noise that can surround us. So thanks for allowing us to be here. Sabrina, you're a master. That was super, super fun. And I feel very calm, which is lovely. So thank you for that too. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Chance. And yeah, as to your point, I think a lot of us can relate to, again, I was talking to Miles earlier today, and he's sort of the guy we turn to as engineers often for like really clever wording when it comes to marketing and thinking around those corners. A lot of us are sort of either uncertain or feel uncomfortable, right? But this is exactly not just what Critical Mass is for, but what the Vision Train aspires to be, as a platform for that kind of thing, and these circular economies and this creative movement that wants to happen and frankly needs funding, right? So to be able to, you know, sort of have that kind of reciprocity between our communities feels amazing. And I've been through Harness Your Hero, and like Chance said, I'm like dreaming and conspiring to be there for the Rewilding retreat. I've never been to Montana, and I just couldn't think of a better group to initiate me into that new wilderness. But yeah, the Harness Your Hero, you guys might have gotten a taste if you were here for Chance's trip during Connection Week and during Anniversary. And yeah, it's really immersive. It's really cool. I don't know. He's let me be a hero guide before, so I might do it again. So you guys could come hang out, and it would be really fun. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, I just love having you guys aboard. I hope you stick around. We're gonna move into just like either a little bit of more discussion. There's a part of me that's like tempted to like hear from everybody what came up during that meditation, because for me it was like just so powerful and magical. And then we're also going to talk about a little bit more about what critical mass is. I want to show off like the cool stuff that Marina's been building and help us to promote critical mass and invite more people into the gatherings. And then we'll probably have a quick little music bio break, and then Marine will be joining us shortly. So what do you think, Marina? Are we gonna chit chat? Are we gonna align? Are we gonna
Yeah, I
take a
don't know. We
break?
have a nice, like, intimate crew here online at this moment. So yeah, maybe we can extend the talk. I really would like also to know what came up for people during the meditation, if anyone wants to share.
Yeah, and even before we move into that, I love that idea. I also want to just acknowledge Sabrina. Thank you so much for being here. And I know that I told you, please come for an hour. Will you please come? And, I know that you're in the UK, so I understand if at some point you feel like you have to leave, but I'm also curious if you're planning to stick around because I would love to have you here for a chat.
Oh, sorry.
I think
She's a little
Can you
frozen
hear me?
just for a second. Yep, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're just a little bit laggy, I think.
Yeah. If you can still hear me, I mean, I would love to stick around for absolutely for a few minutes and have a conversation. And yeah, absolutely. If anyone wants to share what came up during the meditation, that would be and that'd be amazing. Yeah. But yeah, this is definitely I can stay for a few minutes, absolutely, because this is this community seems wonderful and I'd like to stick around. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That makes my heart feel happy. I love that. Oh, well, I'd be happy to start then because yeah, like I said, it was really special for me. And water has been coming up a lot lately. I've been invited to sit with water a lot. I recently the place where I'm staying this summer is a place with a pool. And yeah, it's interesting. I grew up, my mom said that I sang before I spoke and I swam before I walked. Um, and so like I always was very comfortable in and around water. And then as I got older and different traumas, I had actually a lot of aversion with water. I remember the first time I saw the Pacific Ocean and I spent a lot of time near it, but I never got in it. There was like a long time where I was like, yeah, there was a lot going on there, but a lot is being resolved, I guess, in different ways. And yeah, just thinking about flow and going into that water meditation, it took me immediately not to a river or lake necessarily. It took me to these little streams that I would go to when I was in Alaska, where my sister lives. And and then I was sort of thinking, not thinking about it through the meditation. And it's like, oh, but it is the river. It's the Nanana River, which is like a very powerful river in Alaska. And all of these little streams in this whole valley and all the waterfalls and everything are fed not really from the glacial melt so much. Well, the river is also fed, but it's you don't necessarily think that this little stream is part of the river because you have to drive 40 minutes to go see the river, which is massive. So that was really special. And then also, we weren't necessarily invited to the ocean, but being that like that was like the water that raised me like that. And it was so cool to see how the water that came in was the water in Alaska, and all of my family is in Alaska during the summer. So they're all there now, and I'm here in Florida, far, far away. And then, also what came to me was when I lived on a boat in the Keys, and my son lives in the Keys. So it was just like really cool to see how the waters that came through were like there to connect me with my family. And it was just really nice.
That was amazing to hear. Thank you for sharing that, Ali. Yeah. I missed it a little bit because Zoom kicked me out, but I got the gist of it, and with the waters and stuff like that and the river. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for guiding us.
Yeah, for me, it was just really peaceful because obviously it is so hot here today, and it has been. And I'm doing this kind of painting that's sort of connected with the solstice. It's really early days, I've only just started it. But as you can see, I've kind of got this sort of phoenix, I'm not sure if it's a phoenix or a bird of prey. I'm not sure at the moment, but it's got this big sun form, and we've got this desert at the bottom. So it's actually really nice to sort of step into a calming space. I imagined it was like a really green, a bit like somewhere like the New Forest in the UK, where you've got this really short green lush grass and this beautiful little stream running by. And I was just watching this stream and just thinking, right, just let go of all the grasping and the trying to fix things and sort things out. Just let it do its thing and just stop trying to grab onto stuff and sort things out. Just literally go with the flow, like be like the river. That's what I got from it, or be like the stream. It wasn't really a river, it's more of a stream. So it was quite peaceful to just like allow myself to think like that instead of always trying to sort things out, which is my normal way of doing it. So yeah, thank you. That was very nice.
Thank you, Josephine. And what a lovely painting. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. It's really early days, but hopefully it might be quite cool when I finished it, or quite hot.
Josephine's comment about being the river brought out some resonance for me. So here a month or two ago, I spent 3 days by a place called Lost Horse Creek in the Bitterroot Mountains, where it's close to where we do our retreats. And there was this like epic waterfall coming down, and it was actually still snowy. And then the sun had come out, and so the water was just roaring. And the whole time we're just in this like sound bath of just like, and bloop, blop, bloop, bloop, blop, bloop, just for days, like a full kind of tech detox and all of that. And by the end of it, all the tension had melted out of my body in a way I don't know that I've ever really fully felt. Like it was like I was falling through my floor a little bit. Like I was just like so sunk in, so low. And it was a feeling that as somebody who's lived with chronic pain for much of my life, I was emotional about like how grateful I was for it. It was like a sort of reverence. And ever since then, I've been kind of seeking that feeling and like finding little bits of it in small moments and like being able to actually like get it back. And there's a number of different ways I do it, but it's just like scratching into it really. And like, it's like, I want it to be like more of my steady state, And during your meditation, Sabrina, I actually imagined my body as the river, as the stream, and connected with like the fascial layer of things, and like imagine water running through my body, and the tension that I get in some places, I moved it. I just felt it like move, and to be able to do that while somebody else is speaking in a matter of a couple of minutes, I was like, holy crap. It's getting more powerful. I'm able to tap into it more, but this was the most substantial. My body as a river, not even like trying to be the river, but I am the river, was really powerful. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Chance, for sharing that. And kind of what you said, it resonated a lot, and it kind of also brought the thing with creativity of how you can create one thing and it can be one thing, but then someone else can take it and interpret it and make it something more or something else entirely. And I think that's really beautiful, that it's like a collaboration that I didn't know I was doing, which is amazing. So thank you for that.
Yeah, your voice, Sabrina, is always so soothing, and it just takes me to a soothing place. And having recently been in Montana and having recently hiked along Big Creek Trail, which is where we do our nature wilding retreat, with my brother, took me right back there. Just sitting by the bridge and sitting by the water, and just feeling so soothed by your voice, and so soothed by just the sound of the creek rolling by, which is actually raging right now. it's moving pretty fast, but it's still a beautiful place to kind of just be.
Oh, thank you, Paul. And yeah, I'd have to visit Montana soon. But definitely on my to-do list for sure.
I wonder if there's anybody else that has anything to share. If not, that's okay. Well, great. It sounds like, yeah, everybody just caught the vibe and was able to go someplace, yeah, soothing and cooling in a way. And I love that about the water energy. And even as I say that, there was a lot of moments throughout the thing that maybe I didn't speak to where it's like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time with water, and there was like a lot of it felt good to be sort of held by the group and the container and to just get to go there. Like I definitely teared up at times, and that's a big part with water too. And so yeah, just really grateful to you, Sabrina, for everything that you brought with this offering. It's just so wonderful to have you on board, and hopefully you know that you are welcome absolutely anytime. Yeah, and for those that don't know, the Vision Train is literally available 24/7. There's almost always people hanging out here, especially while Kyra is on this marathon with her mural. I feel like she's been literally on 24/7. And then there is the Mighty Networks too, where if you're more schedule oriented and you like to know what's going on, we make that all available for you guys. Marina just dropped that into the chat if anybody needs it. So yeah, this has been so fun. Any last shares before maybe we take a little bit of a break? Going once, going twice? Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Maybe I'll just throw the music back on for a little bit, Marina, and then we'll come back in, 10 or 12 minutes. Perfect.
Yes, that will be perfect, Ellie.
Cool.
Yay.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. I just wanted to also mention that the music that we've been playing today was created by our very own Lisette Murphy. That's how we were able to get away with live streaming while we're on the train today. Even with the music, is because we've been developing these like free to share, copyright free tracks from within our community. And so Sabrina, I welcomed her into that little library, and she picked out the one that she felt like she wanted to match with her offering. And so, yeah, I just wanted to give a little shout out to Lisette for creating that awesome track. And I believe her partner Neon was a part of creating that too. So,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, it's in the drive. So if you don't know, that means we really got to tell people. And maybe this is something we can even talk about, like getting shared on the website or something, because yeah, it's like they used from the public domain some things and put it in there, or from some kind of a commons. But also from a few of the Vision trained creators like herself and Nikhil, and I think a couple others that have essentially donated that to the train, and it's free to use. So.
Amazing.
Yeah, really cool. So many talented people. And it's like, you see someone like, for example, Lisette, where I'm so proud of her in this exhibit, and she's off doing so many wonderful things. And so to get to see her curate that through all of her trips on the train, painting live, and like then to get to celebrate her taking it into the world. And then to find out, she also hosts poetry circles, and she also makes music. And it seems like it's true of basically everyone here. There's so many like hidden talents. So I'm just so excited to continue.
Yay. Thank you so much, Ellie. So nice that we are gathering here like once a month, and we can bring like these other communities and other subjects. And well, Sabrina offering was really, really nice. It was amazing to see the creative flow, like how we all deep dive into the creative flow, right? And yeah.
Yeah, seriously. And speaking of the
And
creative flow, right? The critical mass, like it's already working so much better than I even could have imagined. Like, I'm so excited. Do you want to show them like where do you want to start? Do you want to show them the video? Do you want to just go to the web page? I really want to show people what critical mass is about. And I wonder, is there a way to check? Do you know? Are people on the live stream? Can I say hi? Like, who is on there?
I cannot check this.
Okay, well, hi to everybody on the live stream and in the future.
Yeah. It is so nice to, yeah, I cannot, no, it doesn't show how
Hmm.
many people, yeah.
It's a mystery. I like mysteries.
Uh-huh. Ah, it's showing, yes, 2 people online here watching us.
Oh, nice. So cool. Now we know we're not alone. It's so good to have you guys join us. And if you ever want to join the train, you can jump on the Zoom also. You can find that on our website. It's very easy. You go to thevisiontrain.org, and the first button that you click is for get on the train. And then right next to it for our full schedule, and everything that you need to know and more on the Vision Train website.
Yeah,
Which
so well,
maybe
maybe
we start there.
exactly. Let's start. So I will share my screen here. I have selected a few videos also for us to play, but I can get through them afterwards. So here I'm sharing my screen here. And here is the website of the Vision Train. And on the website of the Vision Train, you can find a lot of information of this project. Because my friends, the Vision Train ain't only that 24 hour Zoom call. The Vision Train, it is really like a massive social structure project that encompass a lot of things. And here you can see like what about the Vision Train. So, well, it came as the first vision in 2011 to Amanda Sage. And here we are in 2026, 15 years later, living like this transformation. Wow, the transformation. Yes, the transformation of this project. Yes, it's a global community of creative weaving imagination and shared presence into a movement of transformation. Yes, it's all about transformation. It's really interesting. We are here living on the vision train with like this chosen family of visionaries, and we get to see each of us evolve and I like to say like our hair getting gray and like our faces getting wrinkles and but well at least we are experiencing all of this together, and as you can see here you can see this family that came together to support as volunteers of this project. Everyone that you see here volunteer the time of their lives to be on the Vision Train and host trips. This is why, like this is how we call Vision Trains trips. And all of these amazing artists, and you can see them, and you can see the trips they host, and you can see the artworks that they create, you can see the bios. All of these artists volunteers to come together and host trips on the train. And we are at one trip on the train, right? In this exact moment, we are here at the Critical Mass Conversions monthly virtual conversion on Zoom on the Vision Train. Well, it is really nice to come together to make this project happen, right, Ali?
Seriously, I'm so excited because it's like Amanda had this idea back before anniversary where she was like, what would it be like if we got 333 visionary artists on the Zoom call at the same time, live painting with music, you know? And I feel like this has been a huge thing that like maybe we don't even know how unique it is, but these visionary global art jams that we've created where we have the live music and everybody painting at the same time has been so magical. So I mean that time was our first inaugural Critical Mass. We had hundreds of artists come together. We had Alex and Allison Gray come on board and lead us in invocations. Everybody was sharing like these prayers for Critical Mass from the heart. And yeah, what Critical Mass means is like this, like everybody coming together and organizing so well that it becomes sustainable, effortless, as if we're like moving as one, right? And it's like got this high energy. I just like, I don't, it just came out of nowhere. Amanda was like, we're doing Critical Mass. And immediately everybody responded. It was just like, you know, it's like one of those things when you know, right? So it's been amazing to develop this with all of these creators.
Yes, and well, let's hit play on the video of this first Critical Mass of the anniversary. Ali and I collabed on a video, and it was really nice to, well, that gifts, right? That the community had that you're saying about Lisette, and well, we find those gifts within us, and Ali and I collab to make a video about the Critical Mass. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, just make it full screen and it'll be good.
Yes, I will be resharing because I believe I forgot to share sound.
All good.
Yeah, I forgot. Yes, for
You
sure.
didn't forget, you were just remembered.
So here, yeah, you guys can see, right? Full
Yeah.
screen. Oh, is still full screen or no?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, so let me do again. I will do again and again and again. Stop share. but then it's full screen now. Oh, my friend, how do I share full screen on YouTube?
Maybe just start the share and start the video, then go full screen.
No, then it says it stops sharing.
Huh.
I can put theater mode here. And this will work out. So here is what we are seeing is a video from a compilation of what happened during the first critical mass of the year that happened on the last Friday of March during the Connection 6 years anniversary on the Vision Train. Hope you enjoy.
Alrighty. Here we are.
Thanks for calling me in. It was definitely needed. I think I was feeling really kind of like pretty overwhelmed with the world right now.
So many systems that need to change in political systems, the government, education, health, economy, you name it.
If you're tired, exhausted, or busy, and you want to help, or if you're just starting out here, welcome. And you don't know where to start, here's 3 practical things. 1, make art for 20 minutes a day. 2, meditate for 5 seconds a day. 3, if you love someone and it's not possible to tell them in person, tell them in your heart. You will be heard. And always remember that we are not what has happened to us. We are what we choose to become. I love you guys.
We are a beacon. We're a beacon of weird. In a normal world, weird is needed. It doesn't matter. Your part is to be yourself, because that is very influential for others to be themselves. It's called freedom and having fun at the eternal party at the end of time, which is now and forever.
Choo-choo. Thank you, Roman.
So amazing. Tonight here, today there, morning elsewhere. There's way more love in the world, and I want us all to tap into that tonight. It's really apparent here. We're all over the globe. We're all tapping into each other's energy through our breath, through our hearts, through our intentions. So let's dance it out. Let's art it out. Let's create whatever your creativity is. You could just come and create with us and enjoy the ride. Also, go to Airtable. You fill it out and tell us where you are in the world so that we can all see who we are and find each other during and after this epic journey.
This is to share this in the beauty of this time and to create a tapestry here. So welcome.
Oh my God, how amazing is this? This is historic. What we're doing right now, what's been going on in this space the past 6 years, and it's still only just begun.
I've envisioned originally this train as a real train, and I still do. You never know how it's going to turn out, right? What's going to happen? And when a vision comes, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to respond to it? And also, you have to make yourself available for the vision to come. So that's what we're going to do. Everyone that's here, think of someone, whoever pops in, you're like, they might appreciate this too. The Zoom call is open. So let's jam. Let's go deep. Let's make art.
Choo-choo.
Oh my God. I'm so biased, but I'm watching it and I'm watching you and both of us smiling. I'm so proud of that video. I'm so proud of the Vision Train. I'm so proud to be a part of it. I think that should go viral. I'm so excited. Like it's just such a good message, and I'm so excited.
Yes, I am so excited to that we kept this going, because the critical mass happened on the anniversary. For the first time, it was the other anniversary, right? We had one, and then yeah, we had like, or it came up this.
I think it was in January when we did the big 9 days of connection was the first
Yes.
one. And then we went into sort of the boiler room and we're like, we can't stop doing this. We have to keep doing this. So then I think we brought it back in May. No.
May, yes,
Yeah.
yes, we had the April hiatus,
Yeah.
because too much of the anniversary. Yeah, so it started on March, and then in this gathering, we broke a record from the Vision Train. We were expecting 333 people, but it went over 130 participants online, and this was the maximum that the Vision Train had over the 6 years. But for sure, we got more than 400 visits on the unique visits on the website that day. So this for me was like a insight that there was more than even 400 people around that day on the Vision Train.
Yeah, and it's so cool to be able to like peek behind the scenes and get to see that, because a lot of times it maybe feels like, especially in the kind of work that we're all doing, nobody is doing it, or and a lot of it is like the invisible, the unseen, the mysterious, right? So it's nice when we get to sort of peek behind and be like, oh, yeah, we did it. Yeah, I
Yes, the
love
Vision
that.
Train shows me that it is not like the social media is showing. It is not about quantity. It is about quality.
Mm,
It is about the quality and the way that we touch people and the way that we can share with people. And also the Vision Train has this kind of an intimate, that, even a little one shows up. So, yeah, this family-like vibes, that we have here in these gatherings. It's totally about the quality of these relationships that are formed naturally here on the Vision Train. This is truly precious, yes.
And it's so interesting because on the one hand, of course, it takes time. There's people, that have been here since 2020 when the Vision Train started and have been gathering here and sort of, you know what I mean? Like have really been here from the start, developing it. But then also like, so many people will come into the space on day one and it's just so clear what this place is about. And, it's so easy to just like find a place to belong if you're like, ready to just like be creative, be curious, be non-judgmental, be ready to grow, it's just such a fertile ground for learning, and it's been such a journey. And to be here, 6 years in, and just knowing that we're just getting started is like so exciting. And even when I was going through, like watching the video and seeing the Airtable fly by and seeing like everybody's faces, and I'm like, oh, they're here right now. Like, it's just the continuity also is just like so great.
Yes, this continuity is really interesting to have these follow-ups, and for sure we will have waves in between these gatherings where we will host many people and where we will have an intimate gathering. And this is the flow of the trips also here on the train. That's also what happens here on the train. But also the continuity of the critical mass makes possible for many other people in many other communities to know the Vision Train as well, right?
For sure. And I mean, that's going out. So like, I can't make this clear enough. It's like whether it's our conductors and our crew, like inviting your friends, or if you're like seeing this on YouTube or whatever the case may be, I'm talking to you, Maureen. Hello, I see you, my dear. She responded to my invitation. She gets it. Oh, it's so good to see it happening in real time with the new faces. I love it. But yeah, this is an invitation. If you are resonating with this message with critical mass and what we're trying to do, we want to hear what you have to say. We want to invite you onto this platform. Vision Train is a lot of things, you know, it's this community that we're talking about, but it's also this platform for creators to be able to do these kinds of showcases that we're doing with critical mass. But again, we're here 24/7, you guys. Like, if you're cooking up something crazy, we want to know about it. You can reach out to info@visiontrain.org. You can reach out to admin@visiontrain.org. You can reach out to the Instagram. You can reach out to the Facebook. You can reach out on the website. You can reach out any way you want. Just reach out. We're here. So once
Yeah,
again.
and with that, I really would like to show that is a video of the recap of what happened on the critical mass of May. If I may share the screen now and share this with you here, right?
Yes, I see.
Okay.
Yes, you're good.
Choo-choo! Welcome everybody. Welcome to Critical Mass. There's a lot of wonderful offers for you tonight. I'm going to get you started with 1 hour of 5 rhythms. That's the wave of transformation.
This is what critical mass is actually about. If you look up at critical mass in science, but essentially it is in system science the idea of a system self-organizing to the point of becoming sustainable indefinitely, becoming regenerative.
When I breathe in, I know that I am alive. This journey that we're on, together, connected, as friends, as family. When I breathe out, I smile to life, for I have been given the gift by life itself.
We literally are that mycelial network that is making some epic moves.
We are moving as one, you know, and so when we sing, it sounds like one voice, right?
We're all creating artifacts that are remembering and that will remember us.
This one is Prayer for Peace, which expresses my desire for the world, that we find a way to live at peace with ourselves and each other, and with the things that have been given us through the blessings of nature. So that's my hope for humanity.
And that's my hope for humanity. Wow, it's so beautiful.
I love the way that one ends, and that's my hope for humanity, as if he's going to say more, you know, like the story is never finished, the future is not yet written, you know, and we get to have a say. So this is beautiful.
Yes, it's incredible to see how these gatherings can have this amount of inspiration in such a like simple ways, right? Yeah.
Seriously. I guess I'm also curious if anybody from the Vision Train has anything else like around critical mass, like memories they want to share, or if anybody even has any questions, because it's still kind of new around inviting people or anything like that, because we've got a couple of minutes, and then we'll take just like a 5-minute break probably, and then we'll welcome Maureen. Cool. Well, if it is quiet, then I feel like maybe we have been clear, Marina. We have done our jobs well, and people are not having any questions in this moment, or they will reach out in the channels that we've provided. So yeah, maybe I'll just turn that beautiful dulcimer music on that Lisette provided for us. We'll take a little 5-minute reset. I know I just need a little 5 minutes, and then we'll get started again.
Yes.
Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you,
I'm having so
Ellie.
much fun.
Yes, and I am so grateful that you made this Be Right Back. It's so inspiring. Like, Please, we have to have that more of that.
Yeah, I think it was like I've been going to a lot of more events like this, and there's a lot happening, and I'm trying to find them so I can connect with them and invite them to come do, and we'll collaborate. And a lot of people are doing that. I'm like, how could I have forgotten? That was so easy, and so great to have the live stream. So yeah, happy to do it. Cool. Oops, I flubbed the fade out, but you guys get the idea.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Critical Mass is still rolling down the tracks. We had a beautiful opening with Sabrina, aka The Brightness. She was our guest from the Veraverse and brought a few of her friends. And now we're getting joined by Miss Maureen Edwardson. I had the pleasure of meeting her recently at another online event like this one with a group called Regen World. And yeah, it was really, really wonderful. And we just managed to connect and we've been chatting. She's a very generous friend and she gifted me the experience that you guys are about to have. IRT is her work that she's developed through I guess I can let you speak to this, Maureen. You have such a fascinating tapestry that serves as the background to your work, and it's just your life story. So to do it justice, I feel like I would love to let you share that.
Well, hello, hello. And I'm just so excited to be here because I am such a spontaneous creature that love to say yes, because that's where the energy of creativity and inspiration binds us, correct? So, I just love the magic of my life. And I like to think that I'm on a magical carpet ride. And sometimes in, guiding people through the work I developed, work, play, guess what? All the heaviness that comes with life that we put behind us to one side to carry on and just, get her done and, do our best, to keep on keeping on down the track. But we got all this luggage, whoa, and it kind of slows this down more than what we really need to be slowed down for. So from that point of view, I love the magic carpet ride because it's up, up and away, and we can bilocate, and on our magic carpet. Plus, be on that train and experiencing the wahoo, hoot hoot of steaming full steam ahead. When you throw all that luggage overboard and that extra, car that's being dragged along, the train car that's being dragged along behind, like there's a little engine that could chug, 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 right? Imagine when we cut loose of all that stuff of the drag, we just go whoosh. And we have a ride, don't we? We have the ride of our life. And so I'm excited. I love the idea of a vision train. I've been part of other trust trains going down the track and clearing the way of boulders and different obstacles that life brings along our way. Often, quite surprisingly so from left field, like, oh, where did that come from? So how do we, continuously and effortlessly have the energy to continuously show up in our best selves and create? How do we create? How do we be inspired? How do we inspire each other? And how do we inspire critical mass to I've got really excellent news on critical mass, by the way. So I'll share a little bit about what this is and how I'm so excited to be with a collective of artists and visionaries. Yes, in all different respects, I'm sure. And I look forward to, learning more about each of you and your group because, it's fatal to invite me, to talk because I don't always go away, I like to join and enjoy all of the gifts that each of you have, in the whatever it is you do monthly and in between and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'm always excited to learn more about everybody and everything. And I believe that's the curiosity that runs everything. That the curiosity is where the magic lives. Don't you think so? Don't you guys think so? Yeah, you get curious about something and then you get inspired and then you have an experience or whatever it is. And everybody has a gift for everybody. Everybody has a unique contribution to make. And that's what's so exciting about being with people that already know that. And so basically the work I developed is called Inner Resonance Technologies, because we have everything within us. And, speaking of technology, we are, the body is a quantum supercomputer. It is a piece of incredible intelligence. The body has 100 trillion cells by some accounts, 50 by others, depending on what scientists you listen to. And just for a gobsmack of knowing who we are and what we have access to, which is limitless and infinite in nature, is the body has trillions of cells. That's good enough for me. And each one, and you don't have to remember, there's no test, but it's just for a gobsmack effect, right? So every cell in that trillion cellular system, every neuron has 100,000 potential connections already. Like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And yet it gets better. Each one of those 100,000 potential connections of each tiny neuron in trillions of cells have 85 billion wormholes and microtubules into other dimensional realities. Like, whoa, we are rocking happening place here, infinite in our nature. Isn't that the coolest thing? And we're multidimensional. Our bodies are multidimensional communication devices. We get to fly around in and create realities with, because what is reality? It's what we make it, what we choose it to be, and how we play in that field of infinite potential. Can be like a smorgasbord of life, I'll be mixing metaphors all over the place because there's so many metaphors for IRT. We have everything within us, and that is what's so extraordinary. And so how do we, enter that magical world in a greater, more a quantum space of access in that place of critical mass? Because the truth is, we are at a critical time in our history. And with all the science, all the knowledge, all the understandings that science has brought to our awareness, it's not enough. And I'm sure each of you know already what the doorway to the future is. What the doorway to the future? Creativity, art, music, dance. Yeah, the heart of the matter. That's what is driving humanity forward. Poetry, all of the art of the heart, of the matter is what matters. And that is our doorway to the future, our doorway to critical mass, where we get to fly off the edge of the cliff of the sixth mass of extinction, going, and we get to fly. Who knew? So, everything is actually possible. We are here collectively creating, inspiring each other, being inspired. And this is the key to the future. Being our creative self. That's the truth of who we are as spiritual beings. So guess what? What are we breathing into these quantum supercomputer communication devices? What are we breathing in, guys? Who knows? Who wants to tell me?
Life.
What are you breathing in?
Life.
Absolutely. And what is life? Life is source energy. And does that have a limit? No, it's limitless. So we're breathing in our portion. Some spiritual teachers say each of us are God tasting chocolate. We're giving spirit an opportunity to have an experience and this, reality. And that's where all the, the oneness, comes in all of its unique differentiation, because the unity consciousness isn't complete unless we keep showing up and keep creating and keep exploring and keep expanding our potentials and and find the heart in all. And I just love heart, art, it rhymes for good reason. And so I'm just delighted because the work I developed 36 years ago, and it's still cutting edge. And oh my God, I get to be 80 in 3 years. Isn't that the most remarkable, funny thing you ever heard? I'm turning 77 next week. Yeah, just before I come to the UK, Josephine, maybe I'll come and hunt you down. Yeah, so it's really an exciting life. And I'd just like to tell you a story of the result of IRT, of what's possible for people physically as well. And oh, there you are. I see you in your room. Yes. And so, yeah, 2 years ago, May 26th, 2 years ago, I was with the Holo Movement, a group of humanitarians and change makers and spiritual people doing amazing projects to help humanity. And some of the people in that group, including the leaders, have been my clients. So I'm really blessed to help people create a wider critical mass of shifting our realities into a more loving, creative space. And the creativity that people are sharing there is just phenomenal. It's just one area. And Regen World, where Ali and I met, is just another one. There's so many popping up everywhere. And it's like, anyhow, so I was there and I thought, who goes to Spain for 4 days, right? That's kind of crazy, but I didn't get myself together to expand it or whatever. But my body had a different idea. And so Thursday night to Sunday night, Saturday night route at a regenerative farm, a new partner of the Holo Movement in Ibiza. And then a friend beside me said, I'm a bit tired. We're dancing and singing and having great food. And I'm a little tired. I think maybe I'll go up the hill to catch the first bus back to the hotel at 10:30. Well, sure, I could be tired. So halfway up the hill, you know what I'm going to say? I felt dizzy and faint, and I guess I collapsed. I turned down 2 ambulances because I'm healthy, aren't I? But it turned out that I got carted off after midnight for emergency heart surgery. I was having a massive heart attack. Wow. And I'm programmed to live to at least 150, and then I get to change my mind after that, right? Because we're in charge. We're commanders of our personal universe here. Just a little hint of where we're going here. And so next morning in the ICU, having a party, great people in Spain. They're just so wonderful. Doing my IRT on myself, my inner resonance technologies, activating my own inner healing programs. And unbeknownst to me, over 100 people on the grass sending me love. And that was awesome. That's a beautiful recipe right there. And to keep hopefully, shorter stories even shorter, they were looking. I was first artery was 100% blocked. They put 2 stents in, and going, wow. I was just curious. I wasn't scared. I was just, wow, seriously? It was unbelievable. The second was 70%. So 3 days later, they were preparing for the second surgery that apparently would take place 2 weeks from the original event, and couldn't see anything. 4 days later, Thursday morning, head cardiologist was really a little cranky because he could not see anything. They couldn't handle it, so they went in 5 days later, instead of 2 weeks later, to have a look around, slowed my heart down, did all this stuff, and came back out and said, there's 0 blockages in your heart. Your heart is completely healthy and functioning optimally. Get out of here. So they kicked me out of the hospital, and 4 days later, finally my friends were able to, locate a flight for me. And 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 days later, I'm on my plane flying up from Ibiza through Amsterdam back to Vancouver, Canada, where I am sitting at the moment, 18 hours on my own. And I've never been on an aspirin, never mind pharmaceuticals. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? So 4 months later, I actually got off all the meds, and here I am, better and happier and healthier than ever. So we have all those programs within us. We have an inner pharmacy, but we also have a lot of buildup in our experience field, right? So we have a lot of static, we have a lot of resistance, a lot of unresolved old trauma and pain. I mean, we all have it just by virtue of being in this dimension, having forgotten who we are. So this is a clarion call to wake up the part of you that really knows and remembers who you are in your full magnificence, in your greatest self, that is a creator being that is here to have fun, be abundantly joyful, and just create and beautify the place, and bring joy to the world, and all the fishes in the great blue sea, all of us, you and me. And so this is the business of clearing whatever's in our way that made us diminished in any way, shape, or form, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, in relationships of every kind, but specifically that relationship we have with our own greater self and our ability to command and create our lives in in the version that we would choose, and be part of the magic of life, and trust at a deeper level that all has purpose. And to really understand that there's no more victim consciousness, because everything is happening for us, not to us. So as I take a breath, let's all have a breath. Does anybody know the word pronoia? Yeah, okay, Al, and who else knows the word pronoia? Yeah, you've heard about it? Yeah, anybody have not heard the word pronoia? Okay, I'll just tell you. Has anyone ever heard the word paranoia? That's kind of a joke, isn't it? Pronoia is the opposite of paranoia, in that it states, I thought someone just made it up, but apparently it's real, that all of life, all of the universe, not only has our back, but is actively conspiring in our favor for our greatest good. If you really knew that, if you really trusted that, if you really lived from that place, how would you feel? How would you be? What would you be saying and thinking and doing if you really trusted at a deep level? And, the deeper truth is that we are it. And we're always creating escape routes, creativity pathways, and connections. Inherently, we are one. The First Nations people that I've worked with since 1996, and certainly up here in British Columbia, have a phrase, all my relations, because they know very inherently that we're all connected and part of each other. Excuse me, I just had a banana in the break, didn't I? So how can we say that? And what does science say about that? David Suzuki, who is an environmental scientist based in Vancouver, but known internationally, environmental scientist. And he said that we're breathing in holographic particles of the whole history of creation. So we're breathing each other in and all of the history. So we're all one with and part of everything. And Bruce Lipton, a cellular biologist, biology of belief, says that we are a cell in the body of humanity. So I like this question here. It's what got you to turn down 2 ambulances, thinking surely you were healthy, and allowed so many miracles to unfold from such an apparently catastrophic health event. Pronoia works on catastrophes. Yes, absolutely. Because what did I just say? Everything happens for you, not to you. So everything has an opportunity. Everything has purpose and meaning. And it's up to us to then allow that to be shown and do our own work on ourselves in the meantime. And there's so many miracles that came from this work. But I say, you know, I spent 2 months in Australia, back 1 week, and then went to Spain to have a heart attack. And it was the best thing, best place, best people, blessed time, you know, best time, best experience, certainly for my life and for anyone that my experience touched, including my two girls who were somewhat at a distance in my life at that point with my two young grandchildren. So that sure, you know, was a reality check of love. And so, you know, so many things. So when you look with that 2020 hindsight, who here has had catastrophes and difficult experiences that turn out to have, you know, to have blessings? Yeah, there's always on the other. In fact, there's a universal law, the universal law of compensation, that for the level of hardship or challenge or difficulty that arises in our lives, that on the other side of that are gifts of many different kinds of enrichment, of blessings. So I know that this has been tested out by me over many years to be the truth. And I'm sure when each of you reflect on your lives, that, you know, a disaster has, or a negative person, or an event that's, you know, prevented you from doing something that was really in your heart, it had a side route, didn't it? It had a deflection, it had a detour on the track that took you to, wow, isn't this interesting? And I never would have experienced this otherwise. So life is full of mystery, and when we know this for sure, the more bad things happen to good people, the more we start looking, you know, for the gift and the gifts, because we know, and when we trust that at a deeper level, they come to us even more quickly. So the more we can clear the track, the more we get to carry on into more adventures that give us experience and resilience and, you know, depth and, you know, richness to draw from. And yes, so it's a beautiful life when we can allow and relax into it. And, you know, there's so many things that happen, and we think we have to do something to make it better. We have to fix it, you know. And what if we were just to sit in between and allow? Then we get solutions, don't we? But sometimes there's so much of this going on, so much static and so much resistance, and like, oh, that, you know, we're not receptive. We're not receptive to the gift, or to what wants to happen next, or to the choices that we indeed have the power to make. And so what IRT allows us to do, Inner Resonance Technologies, for those that have joined us since that great announcement, is it's a formula of questions that are all designed for yes to your own higher self. What my friend Julia calls her little Miss Know-It-All, the part of us that is connected in to the infinite nature, that knows all, where everything is possible. And so, yeah, so it's just, and there's so many assumptions that get in our way, and so many distractions. And so IRT is a simple formula that I sometimes warn people about, that it will underwhelm you because there's nothing to do, nothing to know, nothing to figure out, nothing for your body to process and act out, like, oh my goodness. So any of you that have issues in your tissues, they have opportunity to be healed in your field, because guess what? We're all out of our minds. Did you ever hear that? We're all out of our minds. I love that line from Bruce Lipton, cellular biologist, biology of belief guy. Yeah, he endorses my work, by the way, and a copy of my book. And if you want a copy of my book, it's in PDF form right now. Just go to my website, maureenedwardson.com, and just send me a little hello, and I'll send you a free copy. And if I somehow forget, just don't feel badly about reminding me. I'm, like this sometimes. So yeah, so that's my joy to do that. And in the meantime, so back to the future. Who are we truly? Who are we here now? If we were free of this, that no longer is relevant. I mean, we're still being affected and poked by old unresolved memory in our field, because our memory is a field all around us, and we're like the radio receiving the signals. So is the memory in the radio? No. Another grand announcement. There is no memory in the body. What? How can you say that? Because the body is instantly responding with its quantum supercomputer capacities in quantum no time, and that we're getting a readout, we're getting a response in the body of what wants attention, that is in our subconscious, that we're not realizing that is there, causing trouble. And so with that awareness, we get to shift it. And here's a key of how to do that. IRT, as I say, it's a formula of questions, all predisposed to saying yes to that part of you that does know what's there. And furthermore, more importantly, how to shift it, how to neutralize any old information that's still charged up, waiting for someone to push the button on it. So what if all your buttons were all neutralized and there was no charge underneath them? Wouldn't that be a great way to live, where you're free of old stuff, where you get to then, you can keep the memory. Sometimes memory gets erased too in the Akashic Records. Anybody knows anything of that? Just simply because it's not relevant anymore. It doesn't need to be part of your story. It just gets erased. But the memory that is relevant and that is insightful, that gives you the wisdom, of course, we have access to that without having to go through and relive and be charged up again every time we think about it. We're free just to say, oh yeah, look what I learned from that. And wow, my life is great now. And, that's not the truth of who I am. And here I thought, I was a loser, or I was just this angry person. I am angry, Let's go to anger management. What if you could just neutralize the anger? That's no longer relevant. Of what made you angry over there is not happening anymore. So why keep it? So, but we haven't known how. So this gives you an access of how to then defer up into your quantum superconscious mind, beyond the subconscious, beyond the conscious mind. Because the conscious mind is a very slow processor, and it only has availability of 5% of our overall awareness. And did you know that of that 5% of our overall awareness, 99.9% of that awareness of the 5% is looping up from the old programs? Ooh, it's not all bad. However, who wants more than 0.1% access to an original thought beyond program? Anybody here? Yeah, you betcha. Yes. And so now this is what we're here for, to clear whatever is ready. It just doesn't do that, and you're this mindless chicken. I heard of an experiment where they did many years ago, where they wiped somebody's memory clean and then imprinted, a field of a chicken. No, that's not what we're doing here. And so, like Michelangelo, saw the magnificence of the David in the center of that block of marble. And he just chipped everything away that wasn't that beautiful, magnificent, inspiring piece of art. And so this is what IRT does. It allows you to dissolve everything at the unconscious levels without having to figure it out, anything, without having to know anything. and just allow. It's the divine feminine of allowing and putting that part of ourselves to work that is the all-knower, that is connected into the infinite grace of potential. So you don't have to have any belief systems. If you do, you get to put your own in. I love that. And so, in any case, let's just go for a ride. Anybody have any questions before we go? The questions that I take you through are very simple, very, very simple, but they're a formula that gives an end result of the chemistry of wholeness on a whole new level, and the frequency of your greatest, most magnificent creative self, all more available to you than ever before, without having to work so hard to get through the muck. You get to get the power hose and wash all the muck of the meltdown that's no longer necessary, right? Right? We just get to swim in nice clear waters and get on that train and carry on down the track. Yes. So anyway, I'm just so excited to be with you all today. Yes, Allie.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here. And I don't want to stand in the way of anyone receiving this at all. But the one question that was coming up for me, and I know that you and I talked about this when you were generously giving this experience to me for the first time. And it's this idea that is so prevalent in so many spaces today of, but isn't this bypassing? Like, aren't we supposed to, like,
Good
you know what I mean? Like,
I do. And IRT has been accused of bypassing a lot in the 36 years of this work because it is not a spiritual bypass. It's the opposite. It allows you a direct connection to your spirit and the truth of who you are. And what it does bypass is any, notice the word, unnecessary suffering. Because it's not the truth of who we are. And if there's anything in our unresolved field that has no useful, positive purpose for our remembering who we are or operating in the best ways, because we're all on a journey and who knows what the soul is here to experience. So, you have to defer and allow, and the questions in the protocol take care of that. Safe and appropriate, instant and permanent for what's ready at this time, and what's not ready to trust in the journey to unfold in its own time, in its own way, without any unnecessary hindrances. So,
and this
right?
coming from a woman who, like, I mean, your opening testimony, I feel like demonstrates it like mind-blowingly well, right? Where it's like, Maureen is not saying this is like a recipe for a so-called perfect life. You might still have a heart attack, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't work and that we can't stand behind this technology of exactly what we are, right? So just with full trust, I'm really ready.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for bringing that up. It's really important. And it does get taken care of in the questions. But before we get there, there are questions about the questions. And it's all really perfect. Does anybody else have any questions they want to put into verbal form? I see that, people are putting a lot in here, talking and reading. I'm doing my best. Yeah. Yeah, the old resolved memories that have a way of clinging. And so this just allows them to cut loose, and dissolve. And, keep the wisdom, keep the insights. And, it's like sailing a boat. And you've got the bumpers, those things, what they have another name too, and you haven't brought in, that's very bad boat hygiene apparently, sailing away with your bumpers because they cause drag and it's not necessary. They have no purpose. So you just bring them in so they go, right?
Yeah. And I mean, even just like taking the time, even if this is, and this will come later too, but if this is part of your daily practice, where we recently had our design science studio friends on, and they love to talk about Bucky Fuller and his idea with the trim tabs. And so it's not only like first step is bringing in, that's basic, right? We got to bring in those buoys and reduce the drag, but then we have to have the rudder in position, and then we even have to have the trim tab like there to fine tune and guide the fine tuning of the navigation. So it works on all scales too, which is beautiful.
Beautiful, and I have heard that, and I have sometimes used that as an example. So I must be, unconsciously tuned in here.
Beautiful. Yeah, no,
To
we're
choose
feeling that
that.
a lot. A lot of what you've said has been resonant with the conversation prior to you arriving today. So yeah,
Oh, that's
super,
awesome.
super
I'm
resonant.
glad I'm in this zone. I just came from teaching a B. Michelangelo course where everybody gets to allow everything that's not the truth of their superpowers, like love and patience and tolerance and, all these wonderful gifts that we are as spirit, to free all that up that is interfering and creating static. So I've just come from that zone. So I must have been with you and bilocating on some level. So thanks for that, that feedback, because I never
Yeah, and I
know.
mean, in both directions, amazing to know because that sounds like something that I'll have to have you back on to do for us. I mean, the Vision Train would love to do a Be Michael. That sounds perfect, amazing.
Well, we can do it right now. We can do it right now.
Would
And
you?
because that's the same
Yes.
thing, just a different perspective, right? You can come from the point of clearing everything that's not the truth of you, and or you can look at the ultimate potentialized truth of who you are already embedded, already within yourself, and then just free that up without having to go there and think about it. You just focus on, the beauty and the creativity. And I love, seeing some of the creativity in people's, Zoom pictures and Stacy, I don't know if you're getting things out to and you're working on things, but I think it's just awesome. And maybe we could have another one where people get their creative projects out and they're all involved in creating whatever it is their art form or their way, whether it's dancing or painting, and just guide people through an IRT. Oh wow, that is magnificent. Thank you. And so wouldn't that be fun to clear the way for more creativity to even free up and enhance, because it's not just about freeing up, it's about creating and being in that next level of uninhibited direct flow. Well, you know that feeling when you're in that creative mode. It's so beautiful. So wouldn't that be fun to put that together and see what happens?
Well, what's so funny is you're actually doing that as we speak. And then maybe I wasn't clear enough, but yeah, aboard the Vision Train, everyone here in one way or another identifies as an artist, and that's exactly what we created the space for. So we created these critical masses out of that spirit as well. So many people are joining from their home studios or from their art studios. And as we're like feeding and nourishing and like practicing these things together, then yeah, everything else that we do is just like spending time together and being creative. So you are speaking our language, girl.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. And it's so interesting because um, we have so much more available to us, and we get normalized to a certain way of being. And at the end, you referred to just a minute ago, at the end, everybody will have an extra tool because what we're doing here is a super duper defrag antiviral program for your whole matrix from all levels of memory, all lifetimes, all aspects of who you are, to bring you into a coherency of presence where you have more available to you without the drag. And so when you're in that space, in that place of grace and flow at the end, feeling expanded, feeling in that deeper space of presence and relaxation, whatever way you individually express that feeling, I invite you into presence of that awareness. And then you choose a spot. Well, most of you, you're using your hands for many things. So tongue on the roof of the mouth is a good, what some people would call anchor. I call it a reactivation switch. Anchor feels heavy to me, but I'm just literal with boats, etc. but a reactivation switch, because the brain, chemical memory in the brain, works through associative conditions, right? So at the end, you'll be noticing and being present with the presence of how you feel present. And then you get to choose a spot somewhere on your body. As I say, tongue, maybe your toes, who knows? Whatever you can think of, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then the brain associates the chemistry of wholeness on a whole new level of open space to be more of the frequency of your greater creative self. And then you got to breathe 5 times with that awareness as you breathe in and out of your heart with thoughts and feelings, filling yourself up with gratitude and blessings, because that is an elixir that of course opens the portals into everything as well. So then, when you have found your spot, you're feeling, good. And Wayne Dyer would say, good is just God with an extra O, and our main job in life is to feel good. Just to give you permission here, it's good to feel good. And then, as you're aware, simultaneously marinating with the awareness of how you're feeling, together with your touch, together with breath in and out of your heart center, the generator, the part of you that then trains everything else up into coherence and creativity and inspiration, and all filled up with blessings and gratitude. Then I guide you through five deeper breaths where you touch as you're breathing in and breathing out, letting go. Why 5 is the first time subconscious gets a new program. It goes, what? How did this happen? How do I feel so good so fast? There was a teacher in LA at the beginning of COVID, and she was off on leave and really depressed, and she was never born with proper brain chemistry. Her mom was really super depressed. And so she never knew what it was just to be happy without, from the early ages of her childhood, she was on antidepressant medications. And she just said, I said at the end, how are you feeling? She said, I feel weird. I said, oh, so can you describe weird? So, I feel happy, but I have no reason to be happy. It's just weird. I've never felt happy like this just for no reason. Barely for any reason. So she couldn't get it. She did, it was too dissonant for her. So it's so interesting, isn't it? And people get it at the level that they're ready. So just knowing and paying attention over the next little whiles to what happens in your life in all respects, because everything changes, and it's hard to put your finger on it. But then after you've had your 5 breaths of a new program, which basically is first time, a doubt can come up. Second and third time, how could it be this easy and fast? People have healed broken bones also in 10 minutes doing this. And people have been endowed in a courtroom with an expected grumpy judge that you might as well have your suitcase packed to get deported. This is down in the U.S. And so the partner of this man that was up for deportation actually the day before, I happened to be in Hawaii, and so she called me. She said, oh my God. I said, oh, well, let's just clear you. And by, reference by morphic field, by, all of us being connected through our hearts, through our DNA and through our breath, let's just see a different outcome, and then just give it an opportunity to show up if it's meant to happen. And sure enough, there was a different judge. I don't know what happened to the old curmudgeon, but maybe he got sick, who knows. But a young judge came, didn't need to have any of his stuff. He just showed, show me your paper, showed it. He just rubber stamped his paper, and then he was safe to stay in the U.S. So isn't that remarkable? That's miraculous too. So it applies to all facets of life. So just to let you know to watch out for good things. Yeah, there's a lot of collateral good that happens with IRT. So let's just breathe, just breathing together. Oh, and I'll run you through the 5 at the end. And the second and third breaths get received on the logical and emotional sides of our being. 4th is greater acceptance and integration. And 5 just takes it off into the next dimensional frequencies and building block of nature. The number 5, sacred geometry, is the number of grace. 5 is the number of positive change in numerology. So yeah, with all of that in your background, you don't have to remember any of it because it's all embedded in your reality right here now, and you'll be able to anchor and create a reactivation switch for all of this at the end. So now, like any good supercomputer that you are, so let's just breathe. And just remember, we're breathing in source. We're breathing our portion of limitless potential. We're breathing in our infinite selves as we're part of and one with all of everything that is. And as you really remember that greater truth that often escapes us in the chaos of being a spiritual being, having a physical experience, just take a moment. If you are of any kind of spiritual beliefs, it's an opportunity to invite all of your spiritual team, if you have muses or guides, creative sources, inspirations, angels, spirit guides, whatever it is, whatever they are, who, what, where. Just allow yourself to invite, acknowledge, and invoke. And just by saying the words yes and thank you. That's all that is needed. And so now we're breathing this source energy into our communication device, that supercomputer we talked about, alchemical instant responder. So a lot of the programs kind of gave up. They kind of got buried, didn't they? And shut down trauma, grief, pain, protection. Go to sleep now. And so now it's time to wake them up because it's safe now. And we're going to be going through creating that safety. So let's just switch on and wake up all the programs that know and have all the full receptivity for your greatest good here today. So the operative words are switch on and wake up, body. And if you want to say that out loud to yourself, go for it. Switch on and wake up, body. Because you've plugged into your greater source. You've got your support team at the ready. Yes, yes, yes. And you're switched on and woken up full receptivity of all the programs that automatically know what to do. And so now you're at the keyboard, you're at the command center, believe it or not. So let's just act like we are. And so weren't we talking about, our higher Michelangelo self? And take a moment to reflect on what you would like more of in the qualities of your life. What would love do? What would you invoke more of? Patience, compassion, creativity, inspiration. What are you choosing more of in your life? And if you're not there to think in those terms at this moment, maybe you have a lot of heaviness, take a moment to choose what you're creating freedom of, freedom from. Because both are so, both and. So as you're breathing in your infinite self, you switched on your communication device, your quantum supercomputer body. You're now at the keyboard. I am choosing freedom, creation. Less of this, more of that, please. Because we're in charge. Imagine that. And so from that place, we're also including all levels of memory to be cleared and cleansed of what no longer is relevant or necessary to interfere or limit you for no good reason, for your greater good and the greater good of all. Let's face it. So, including in that is all aspects of who you are, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, and relationships of every kind, especially that one with you and your creator self, that's part of great creator in whatever name we put on universal consciousness. We're part of and one with all of that. And so all levels of memory include your whole life, every microsecond, going all the way back, every second, right to birth. All that time, you're getting made inside, getting created by your mother, all the way back to conception, the input from your father, and then all of the ancestral memory, because remember, everywhere, everything everywhere is here all at once in our memory fields, and it's all accessible and shiftable right here, right now. All the ancestral memory, just pruning all the branches of all the dead wood of all the family trees, going all the way back to the beginning of time. And beyond that, the next memory field is the soul memory field. Past, present, future, including concurrent and parallel realities. Time is not what we think it is. And beyond that, into the collective memory field, because we're just breathing each other in. We're breathing the whole history of creation in. We did touch on that at the beginning. Excuse me. And so now, beyond that, it's the galactic and intergalactic memory field, whatever that could mean to each of us. And beyond that, of course, the greatest cosmic field of oneness that is love, that holds us as we wake up and remember more of who we truly are. So at this point, we're segueing into the questions that I told you about that are all designed for you to say yes to your higher self, that Michelangelo self that knows how to chip away everything that's not you, so that you could be more revealed in more of your magnificence, more of your beauty and joy that you bring to the world in all of your gifts that are constantly expanding. How beautiful is that? There's no end to that. And so now, are you choosing to allow all of your multidimensional selves to be coherently realigned with the next level of your expression, to be physically well, be healthy in every respect, to be even more creative, be fully abundant with your creativity, fully passionate and engaged in the joy of life, just being happy for no reason? And are you choosing then to allow that to unfold in the safest and most appropriate ways for you and all concerned at all times? The answer is yes, by the way. Thank you, Ellie. Yes, both thumbs. Are you also choosing then to allow yourself to unplug from the deeply conditioned program of struggle? Anybody up for that? Yes. Unnecessary struggle. Certain kinds of struggle make us strong, but sometimes we're just... Anybody ever experienced that, right? So are you then choosing to open to greater gentleness and ease and the flow that we're designed for? Yes? Any takers on that? Yes. And then are you also allowing effortless grace, effortless effort, effortless grace for instant and permanent shift of what's ready at this time. That's no longer serving any useful positive purpose for you on any aspect of who you are. And then what may not be ready, to trust in that principle of pronoia that we talked about, that everything is happening for you, not to you, and it always has an opportunity for your greater good, believe it or not, at the time. And so beyond that, are you choosing then to allow that part of you that is always so creative, always so open to something different being possible in a different way, to open up into that next level of potential that we haven't necessarily known access to before? That be okay? Saying yes? Excellent. And then are you choosing to allow the part of you that is creative, that is adventurous, that is, choosing more of the greater part of who you are to play and to have more fun, to have more money, to have more love, to have more, life? As you said, what are we breathing in? We're breathing in life, right, Allie? So to have that greater enjoyment of life with less drag that it doesn't have a purpose. Yeah. Here we go. And so then the last question, and that's all the hard work. Well, then we get to really play. Are you choosing to allow the part of you, the part of you that already knows this, the part of you that has the whole picture, your quantum superconscious self, beyond time, beyond your conscious mind's ability to track or need to figure anything out in this moment, and beyond your body's need to process? No healing crisis needed, because if there are any issues in your tissues, they're being healed in your field, because that's where all the memory, all the signals hang out, and they go. All right. So without further ado, you are already probably shifting and clearing, because this is very holographic work. Right from the first hello, you were activating yourself, and now just allow yourself to just go and drift somewhere. You can be creative in your mind, or you can just have a little rest, or you can have a short nap, because at this point it's a distraction for your conscious mind. And if you find yourself bubbling up with creativity and colors and all kinds of things, that's all to the good too. So there's no right or wrong way to hang out in your conscious mind while everything's getting taken care of from the past, getting cut loose, getting neutralized, getting whooshed. You might want to go on a magic carpet ride and whoosh it all away. That could be a lot of fun, Yeah, pick up everything you want on the way, because it's all there in the elevated consciousness and frequencies. Everything's available, right? So go have fun. And I'll give you a couple of minutes. And then we'll come back. Well, I was thinking that thought, Allie, about music, but everybody has their own music in their head. So why don't we just allow people to just be in their own headspace, and you can sing a song of your choice to yourself. And because sometimes songs occur to you that have a message. Have you ever turned on the radio in the car and just what you've been going through gets played? So just allow whatever wants to emerge. And that beautiful divine feminine principle of allowing all the hard work to get shifted in the field, all of the overwhelm. Because the mind was never meant to carry the overwhelm. Just like our spiritual teachers tell us, we're supposed to be in the now. And the presence is where all the gifts are, just waiting for us. And the body also was designed just to be in the moment, not to have to pack it all on and deal with it all and get overwhelmed and weighed down and sick and diseased. Let's start fresh. A clean slate, a clean canvas on which to create. And so it's already happened. And IRT allows you to sink very deeply, very quickly into that place of presence. So does anybody have anything they'd like to share in the chat or even out loud? How are you feeling? Maybe before we speak, you might want to put something in the chat of how you're feeling. So let's just take a moment to notice how you're feeling first. Being present with how you're feeling. Are you more deeply relaxed? Do you feel lighter? Any expansiveness? Feel good? Whatever good is for you. Just take a moment to notice that. And as promised and advertised at the beginning, choose a spot that you can identify, that your brain then can create an associated switch with this chemistry of feeling good, feeling more deeply relaxed and quietness, of presence. And many of you use your hands to create with. So I suggest activating a switch on the roof of your mouth. And if you do want another one, that's fine. At least you have two. And you can use the same one, Ellie, unless you feel like that one, wants to be upgraded. The idea is to keep the same one and really deepen that circuit. But see how it works for you. We're here playing, so play. And so with the place that you're choosing to create a reactivation switch of the chemistry of wholeness on a whole new level, and the frequency of freedom to create even more joyfully and more abundantly, more to the point, and just having happiness for no reason and operating in a whole new level of frequency that is your greater self. And just noticing how that feels as you're noticing your breath in and out of your heart center, simultaneously filling all your heart up with your blessings and what you're grateful for already. Simultaneous awareness, marinating awareness of how you're feeling, the touch that you're choosing to program, your breath in and out of your heart center, filled up with gratitude and blessings. And so now I invite you into those 5 deeper breaths that we talked about. So just breathing in while you're touching your tongue or other places. And breathing out, letting go. And breathing in, touching. And breathing out, letting go. 3 more times in your own rhythm. And so now here's an add-on feature for those of you that choose. Being creatives, having, being project driven often, and creativity burgeoning everywhere. If you have a project, if you have an idea, if you have a vision train, whatever it is, take a moment to see it expanding and creating and just everyone connecting and prospering and being abundantly successful in what makes you happy. Take a moment to go there, because even scientists are telling us that time runs from the future into the present, then into the past. So let's create from the future that's already here now, and the feeling of that joyful creation and connection and sharing our art with others that just beautify and make their lives more joyful and everybody's lives more abundant. And so while you're in that space, future here now, just add 3 more touch breaths in there. Let's anchor in that as well. Let's program that next level. Breathing in and touching. Breathing out, just letting go. 2 more times. And so now, here we are. And welcome to the people that came in near the end of this, because your subconscious already knows this, what we've gone through. You've just, you're advanced and coming in at the end result, feeling the frequency. And there's a part of you that already was here with us, because there is no time. So your touch breath anchored in that next program of your greatest potential, freest of any drag that's no longer serving any useful positive purpose. So it's just like a new beginning, a freshness. That every time you do your touch breath before sleeping, when you wake up, anytime you get a down thought or something happens that you get triggered by, just do 1, or once you've got 5, all you need is 1, and do as many and play with as many as you need to shift. So you get to play with what works for you. You don't have to think anything. You don't have to imagine anything. Everything's in the end result. So, and when good things happen, when you're in that flow, in that creativity, or you do something like, wow, look what I just created, this is awesome, and someone comes along and says, oh, I love that. That's my favorite there. Yeah. And then you add that in. Of course you do. So yes, any feedback, anybody wants to share what their experience is, or any questions?
I will go first. I feel so good. And it's so fun because I got to do this with you before, right? And I was somewhere in the middle of like the girl that you shared who, because I was born with a weird chemistry too. So I've had to learn, and I'm good at identifying things, but even when you and I were talking, you're like, you're describing more than you're just telling me how you feel. And I get that a lot, right? And it's just so cool to see the magic of doing these kinds of practices in community, in group, because just the difference in how I felt doing it one-on-one and how I feel now, it's just like, wow, wild. Like, and I really, yeah. And this time I was more specific with what I was going into it with, and it came full circle with the vision that you were speaking to. I even took some time to write things down, what was coming to me that I wanted, which was touch, which I didn't expect. But as soon as we dropped into the largest field there, I immediately started rubbing my shoulders and so it's like, okay, touch, community, inspiration, protopian prototypes, hope, and prosperity for all life. So, and I am just feeling that right now. So thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome. And when you're not as fully in that chemistry of that feeling consciously, you get to activate that chemistry that floods your whole being in different ways. And you don't always notice when you take a vitamin pill what it's doing for you. But this is like a shot of consciousness, every time you do your touch breath. And it gets easier and faster and more gracious and more creative and more productive and just more joyful. It's really a beautiful technique. It's self-activating. So, yeah, thank you for that feedback. Anybody else? How are you feeling? And is there anything you want to share? You don't need to, but you might.
I can share. Thank you so much, Maureen. I am really glad to know you and get to spend this hour with you. It is really interesting. The Vision Train we get to meet people that are like outside of our cultural circle of our, yeah. And the amount of people that I met on the Vision Train that I say, I want to be that when I grow up. It is really insane. It's like every person I meet here, yeah, that's older than me. I say that practically. But anyway, it is really impressive, like to hear you talk about this human technology. I call it human technology as well, because it is a human. We are a machine, like extremely high tech that is connected to the source of everything. So yeah, we just need the system operation for that. And thank you so much for providing that. Yeah,
You're
it was
most welcome.
yeah, it was a really interesting experience. Thank you so much. I was feeling when you were saying the yes questions, something was like even making my nose, feeling more smells and yeah, like clearing. Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love your name because that's what I got called in Russia when I was over there, sent to Siberia. Marina.
Marina.
Yeah.
Maureen. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
And you are everything already. So it's just about aligning and clearing the way to be harmonized. And then you get to activate yourself in whatever way you choose because we're everything and we can choose. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this reflection.
Thank you so much for all of you. Anybody else have any thoughts, any responses, any questions? It's just such a delight to be here with you guys, and excited and curious, to know what's going to happen for each of you, because that is really fun, and amazing things open up, and in lots of different ways that maybe we don't expect. So once again, I just invite you to notice and invite you to continue your self-activation because it's a self-help program. And so it's a gift that keeps on giving. And it's something that you need to consciously give to yourself. And it's just another habit like drinking water, just do your touch breath before and after. If any of you do need to be on medication or supplements of any kind, you do your touch breath before and after you take whatever it is you're supporting yourself with. And that just makes it more efficient. And for pharmaceuticals, it allows the consciousness of the cell to be filtered for what it ingests of that pharmaceutical or whatever the medication is, or whether you do plant medicine, what it does then is allow that plant medicine to also be paired with your, any medicine to be paired with your internal receptors. People have activated their own DMT molecule through IRT alone. And then when you are taking other things, well, you just get to personalize it and make it more efficient to your purposes of what's ready for you in that moment, for the purposes for which you are, playing in that field with other ways. So before and after any technique, before massage and after, it just allows more to happen, more to be cleared, more to be aligned, more to be harmonized. And so it becomes a fast track of the vision train. It's a fast track with every aspect.
And I'm really excited also to see what will unfold from us doing this together. As I said, I'm excited. I'll put a post in our Mighty Network, and I'll invite you to our Mighty Network if you want to stay in the loop, because then people can respond there and share what's unfolding for them from this practice, and more people can learn about it that missed it, because this will be on our YouTube channel and also in our archive. So people can come and join this practice at any time, and then lots of people will have lots of juicy, beautiful, miraculous stories to share, and I'm so excited. So once again, Maureen, thank you again for being here and for this amazing protocol that you've brought to us with IRT, and just to drive it home too, because I know that you made this really clear with me, especially when you're first installing this protocol in your system, is important to return to it daily. So I'm going to be hopefully reminding you guys, because I'm still in my first 30 days also. So it's just remembering every day to come back to it. And it's so easy when, all of us here or I don't want to speak for all of us, but I know so many of us here are, really connected with our breath. And this practice just taps into that connection and allows us to, like you said, just get into the control room at will, whenever we want, so it's a beautiful, beautiful gift. Thank you again, Maureen.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me and inviting me into the continuance and, and the critical mass that continues to expand and reach all beings, because, every act that we do to purify ourselves and be creative is actually connected in part of the collective by breathing. So we get to clear the collective of all the history on the planet through us, by us, as us, effortlessly in that quantum zone that can do it with ease and grace. So it's just critical mass right there. Yeah. Thank you so much, and I will see all of you. And it's wonderful that you can remind each other to do your touch breath and all of that. Oh, and guess what? In my time zone, it's my magic time, which is 3:33. Isn't that so awesome?
That was the magic number for the very first critical mass when the vision came to our founder, Amanda Sage. She wanted 333 visionaries online together creating at the same time.
No
and if you
kidding.
ask us, we pulled it off,
No kidding. That's awesomely amazing.
And also, we are going to get ready to transition. Thank you so much, DJ Keto, for being with us again today. We're almost there. We're just a little bit over time, but these things happen, and I'm happy to flow with it. Stacy had a question: is if your background is in hypnotherapy at all, or if you have any overlap with that with your IRT work?
Oh, absolutely. And it actually plays well with everything else and hypnotherapy as well, because, it preemptively takes any kind of charge out of any other picture that you would go to in terms of experience. So it makes everything so smooth. It's really awesome. And yes, I'm overlapping also due into another event. So
I know we talked about this previously.
Love you
So
and
thank
leave
you
you
so
and
much. Yes, beautiful,
so the
Maureen.
value of being present and trusting the flow, right?
Yes, and yes. So I'll let you go, but I'm going to tell them all about World Unify Week and the beautiful work that you're doing there as well. So thank you again for joining us, Maureen.
Thank you
And
so
I hope
much.
you'll be back to see us sometime.
Oh yeah, try to stop me, hey?
You know that you got the link now, anytime.
Yep. Okay, bye for now. Much love.
Bye-bye. So,
Yeah, and like I said, I met Maureen at a Regen World event, and she is speaking this week at World Unity. I shared it in the Mighty Networks, guys, so you'll have to look. I wanna make space for DJ Kito and honor his time, but please do check that out. It's a beautiful event, much like this one, much like what we did back with Connection, where it's like many days. It's all focused on this vision of like we did with the practice, like not only focusing on the here and now, which is very important, but also like taking the time to drop into that larger vision of what is possible and really vibing with each other there. So I'm excited to do more of that with DJ Kito and the music that he's bringing.
come on, I'm so excited for that. And Maureen was saying, hey, what will you do with your creative flow that you just put out now? Well, let's jam. What we know better here on the train. Art jamming now, and we have our friend and Vision Train. He's already a Vision Train, right? And even though he just writes whenever he plays, but he plays a lot here on the train. And we are really grateful to have him here. Thank you so much, my friend. I will add you to the spotlight here so everyone knows. Pedro Mosqueto, aka DJ Kito.
Thank you, Marina. Hello, guys. How you guys doing? Good night to everyone. So yeah, once again, here we are. I guess it's like double keto week, right? So
yeah,
let's
yeah,
roll. I'm very
amazing.
excited. And yes, just like you were saying, even though I just come here to play, I totally feel like part of this movement and a part of like this history as a whole. And I'm very thankful for you, my friend, for that, for bringing me in here. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone that's here, that's following this process of learning and hypnosis. I listened a little bit about what you were saying and what Maureen was saying, something about hypnotherapy or something.
Yeah, well, Maureen is deep into the psychic and deep self plasma technology memory field of human. So yeah, he's just too deep. You just have to watch the replay. It is live on our YouTube channel. So everyone, you can check it out, Maureen's talk and also Sabrina's talk before, which were so deeply aligned. And yeah.
Yeah, I would say if you weren't here for Maureen, the one line that is standing out to me so much is if you have issues in your tissues, they can be healed in the field. I love this. It's so good.
Amazing.
So good.
If you have issues in your tissues, again, Ellie, if you have issues in your tissues.
Yeah, if you have issues in your tissues, they can be healed in the field.
To that, and here we are in the field. Yeah, so we will put out the live stream now. Thank you so much for everyone that's tuning in to Critical Mass on the YouTube. Please jump on board so you can be here on the Zoom call with us enjoying DJ Kito's tunes. And please come back again every Friday. We do a art jam here on the Vision Train, and every last Friday of the month we are doing the Critical Mass Art Jam, a monthly conversion that happens on the Vision Train, and it's open for all. And it's a really nice way that we can get our communities, our other communities, to come and enjoy a little bit of the magic of the Vision Train. So I hope to see you all on board. Bye-bye, YouTube. Choo-choo.